First, every voice matters. Secondly, it's also about enhancing decision making. Thirdly, language accessibility. And finally, it's also about customer-centric approach.
Hello and welcome to this new webinar of Televic Conference. Today we're going to talk about Unite and specifically how to use Unite for factory tours. Before we get started, just a small introduction. So this webinar will not take longer than 30 minutes, but do stay alert as we're going to ask a few questions throughout this presentation. And if you answer all of them, you have the opportunity to win an Amazon gift card. After this presentation, we're going to upload this recording to our website. So if you want to share it or rewatch it again, you can find everything on that location. So let's talk a little bit about Unite itself. What is it? Well, it's a digital wireless communication system. So it's used to not only just speak to participants during a tour guide, for instance, but also to listen, to interact, and to just collaborate with each other. It has many different key components, going from a set of master devices who transmit the audio, receivers, and even an access point. And this, let's say, versatility of different products really gives rise to a lot of different applications for this product line. But let's start with factory tour. And let's look at the key components of such a factory tour setup. So typically we would start a factory tour by handing what we call the master to one of the guides itself. So this can be a TP or a TH. He can actually choose which one. Does he prefer to talk into a handheld microphone, or does he prefer to have a belt pocket device with a headset? The choice is his. On the receiving side, we also have two variants, the RP and the RPT, but we'll see later in this presentation what the difference is between those two. So if you see this in an actual setup, how does this look like? Well, it looks something like this. Again, you have one of the master devices, TP or TH, for the guide, and then the RPs for the visitors. You can have as many RPs as you want for your visitors. The range of this is about 50 meters indoors, 300 meters outdoors. So basically, it depends on how many people you can actually fit in to the room. That's your limit of the amount of receivers. This is your basic tour setup, but we can go a little bit farther with this. What's unique about Unite is the possibility to actually have multiple speakers. So these TP and TH devices do not just behave as a master, but can also be configured as a submaster, which means they connect to the master device, and it's used for multiple speakers, multiple guides, so they can present together. This already gives you an extra level of interaction towards your visitors, because now we can work together, you can have an interaction and a discussion between two guides, for instance. One additional level here is the possibility to have talkback. And this is done with the RPT. So the RPT has a small green button on the side, as you can see. And if you push that button, you turn your receiver into a transmitter, and then the guide actually listens in, and you can ask a question to the guide, and everybody can listen into that question, and then the guide can reply again. So how far can we go with this? Well, actually 3 active speakers at any given time is possible. This can be, for instance, 1 guide with a master and then 2 submasters, giving you 3 guides in total. Or, for instance, 1 master with 2 people asking a question, so 2 times the talkback. Or a mix and match where you have 1 master, 1 submaster, and then 1 person being able to talk back. So 3 active microphones at any given time. That's the limit of this system. So this is something that we recently used in our own setup. We have a factory in Bulgaria, and recently we invited our CRA members, our Conference Rental Alliance members, to that factory to just visit us and have our annual meeting on the CRA. And I would like to give the floor to Julie, who would like to give you a testimonial on how this worked, how we used Unite in this setup.
Hi, my name is Julie Smissert, and I am responsible for marketing within Televic Conference and also for the marketing of our Conference Rental Alliance. Recently, we held our yearly CRA partner event at the Televic factory in Bulgaria, where we used the Unite system during the tour of our production facilities. This was not only a great chance for our rental partners to use and experience the system, but it also made it possible to organize this tour without any impact on the workers in the factory. As every person had a personal unit with talkback functionality, they could clearly hear the presenter and ask questions without the need to raise their voice. This also allowed the visitors to look around more freely, as they could understand the explanation even when further removed from the presenter. After the tour, we were shown a presentation which highlighted some of the key strengths of our Bulgarian facilities, and here again we used the Unite system to listen to the presenter and ask questions. Overall, the use of the Unite system made organizing this event much easier and elevated the experience of our visitors.
Thank you, Julie, for this interesting explanation. As you can see, we are using our own products a lot as well, and we often get a lot of positive feedback from either visitors or, in this case, our own partners. One thing you often face when doing a factory tour as well is the fact that there's a lot of noise in that environment coming from, for instance, machinery. And for this, we have a solution as well. Every one of these units actually has an internal DSP, which can improve the audio quality throughout your tour. One solution here is audio level control, which keeps a consistent volume for your participants and just makes it more agreeable to listen to. But you also have systems to actually reduce the noise. For instance, we have a noise gate, which removes any noise when you're not talking, or we have active noise cancelling, which overall enhances the performance of the audio quality and removes the background noise coming, for instance, from the machines itself. These different features simply elevate the performance, elevate the audio quality, and make it so that you can actually use these systems in noisy environments. I would like to go to two testimonials of our partner in Japan, Junta from AudioBrains, who has used this both in a university setup and for company Toyota, both in very noisy situations. Junta?
Tohoku University is one of the most prestigious national library in Japan, and they are using Unite system for their tour guiding system. The university has supercomputer system called Masamune, and it outputs a lot of noise. And the traditional guide system couldn't handle this noise. But with Unite could eliminate computer noise, fan noise, completely with using its noise cancellation, so that the presenter can send his clear voice to audience. This is very unique. Toyota is one of a Unite customer, and they are using Unite system for their factory tour. And factory is usually very noisy environment. And again, we can use the noise cancellation feature of Unite transmitters in there.
Thank you, Junta, for this interesting testimonial. As you can see, Unite is a really good solution for very noisy environments, and it's probably one of the only systems which can actually thrive in these setups. But before we continue, I would like to ask our first question. So how many actual simultaneous speakers can Unite handle within one group? Is it 1, 2, 3, or does it depend on the number of people in the room? I'll give you a few seconds to reply. Okay. So let's have a look to the other key player in our portfolio, the Unite AP4. So this is an access point. This is something that you would typically install in a meeting room, for instance, in a fixed position. So how does this fit in our whole ecosystem, and how can this relate to, for instance, the corporate tours that you have? Well, in this setup, we can actually use the access point as the tool for wireless presenting. You can take one of the TPs or THs that you have and simply use that as a presentation microphone, of which the audio will go from the microphone to the access point, and that can then be integrated into external speakers or a DSP or anything like that, either over Dante or analog connections. We can go up to 4 speakers simultaneously, and with multiple access points, we can actually go up to 32 different channels. So this is the wireless presenting setup. And you could, for instance, take the master devices, the TP and the TH, which you typically use for your factory tours, and use this for wireless presenting as well, making it really a true multifunctional system. The opposite is also possible. So you can actually change the flow of the audio. You can now send in the audio over Dante and analog, and then it floats to the people using a receiver. So here it's not wireless presenting. Instead, it's more what we call language distribution. So you take in different languages, different flows of audio, and you send them over the access point to the receivers, and people simply can select which channel, which type of language they want to listen to. Here again, you can simply take the receivers you use for your corporate tours and reuse them for this language distribution setup. And with this, we really have a truly unique and versatile system that can be used for many different applications. To summarize this, we have the five different products. And if you want to use them for corporate tour guides, these are the products that you would use. One of the 2 masters or submasters, and then one of the 2 receiver units. If you want to use it for wireless presenting, you combine it. You combine the microphones with an AP4, and if you want to use it for language distribution, you take a receiver and connect it to an AP4. And this really is truly a multifunctional system that can handle all of these applications at once. This has been used in the past already for corporate setups. I would like to give the floor to one of our partners who would like to explain a case in Mexico.
Compared to other systems or other products in the market that are real good products as well, real good wireless microphone systems or real good tour guide systems, the thing is that Unite can do it all of that in just one solution. The difference with other systems is that you need a tour guide system separately from the wireless microphone one, separately from the hybrid communication one. The thing with Unite is that with a few quantity of products in the catalog, it can do it all. And I will give you an example that we had with a customer in Nissan Mexicana, which is the Japanese manufacturer of cars. Nissan, I think is the right pronunciation. Nissan Mexicana, or Nissan in Mexico. We implemented Unite as a demo solution in the auditorium, where people coming from Japan would hear the translation on their body packs, on their Unite body packs, while a Mexican presenter was speaking on stage. But afterwards, they would go and tour the factory by using the same receiver. So you have their interpretation solution, silent PA distribution, and then tour guide system, all by the means of one unique solution, which was Unite, right? So I think that there are very good systems in the market, but Unite has it all together in one single system.
Thank you very much again for this testimonial. You can see that Unite is actually being used in multiple different applications within one company. So this really highlights the multifunctionality of our portfolio. Before continuing again, I would like to start with our second poll question. So how can you actually interface with the AP4 to send or receive audio? Is this purely over analog and Dante, or Dante only? Give you again a few seconds to answer this question. Okay. So let's go one level up again. So not only can we use Unite as your basic tour guiding system, we can have multiple speakers. We have the audio processing to improve the quality. We can have multiple applications with the different product variants together. But we also have, as you can see here, different interfacing options. One of them is, for instance, the USB interface. This is a bidirectional interface which can be used to connect it to your PC, for instance, and really simply have the possibility to have an audio card on your PC, which you can, in one case, connect to, for instance, Teams and Zoom. This allows you to not only have a wireless communication system with Unite, but also something that is hybrid. You can use it within a hybrid remote session. It's also used to just play some audio and interface with your phone, for instance, in this way. And for this, you can not only use USB as the bidirectional interface, you can also have the single direction interface using analog line in. So if you have an external audio source which uses analog, you simply have the line in and you can feed the audio to the system and then distribute that to everybody listening in to your presentation. The third one is Bluetooth. And for here we have two different options. One option with Bluetooth is to connect it, for instance, to a headset. So if the presenter, the guide, he does not like to have a wired headset, he can use a Bluetooth headset as well, making his life a little bit easier. It also has a different mode, which makes it so that you can connect the Unite to your phone or to your PC. And this can be used again to play some music, for instance, or to integrate with any application on your phone. All of this can be combined with yet another feature of our DSP, which is called the Docker. So what is the Docker? With the Docker, you can simply reduce the volume of the external audio source whenever you are talking. So whenever you're speaking, the volume will go down. If you stop speaking, the volume of the external audio goes back up again. And this really highlights the, let's say, the ease of use and the flexibility, and just makes it more easy to listen to from the perspective of the visitor. Again, with this interfacing capability, I would like to give the floor to one of our partners again. Today, this is going to be Laurent from ProSong, one of our rental partners, who used this USB interface in a setup where remote people would like to log in.
La demande était de pouvoir sonoriser 31 ateliers pour 600 personnes. Donc les gens se déplacent de stand en stand. Quand ils arrivent sur le stand, ils sélectionnent le canal correspondant au stand et ils ont ainsi la possibilité d'écouter l'orateur qui parlait soit dans un micro, ou nous avions aussi une demande avec un PC connecté à Zoom où on avait besoin d'envoyer le son vers les casques. Et donc le gros avantage du Unit, c'est qu'il y a le connecteur USB-C qui transforme l'appareil en carte son et qui permet de se connecter à un PC.
Okay, thank you, Laurent. So this was again a really interesting setup that they created with a lot of positive feedback from the participants. And then we would like to go to the last step in my story, our charging solutions. So first of all, we have a very large variety of solutions, really to account for different types of setups. We have the mobile transport cases, the big ones on top, which have 28 or 36 slots. These are easy to transport if you are on a remote location, for instance. Then we also have the rack-based systems with 12 slots. This is typically installed in technical space somewhere in the factory, for instance. Or if you have a smaller setup, you can have the tabletop chargers, which have 4 or 8 slots inside. These products are not just used for charging the devices, they're also used for configuration. So each of those have a network connection. Then we have the Unite Manager tool, which allows you to pre-configure everything without actually having to do it just before the guided tour itself. So this allows you a little bit more time and flexibility to prepare everything as you want it to be prepared. One advantage of this charger cases is also the fact that we store the configuration inside the charger case. Why is this interesting? Well, for instance, imagine you have an additional visitor for which you haven't prepared the receiver yet. You don't actually have to open the Unite Manager again and make the connection. You can simply take the receiver and plug it into these charger cases. And if you do this, the stored configuration will be automatically sent to the receiver and it will be configured as you did it in the beginning. This allows, again, a lot of flexibility and makes it easier to expand your setup. For this, I would like to close off with the third question. So what is for you the main advantage for Unite? And why do you think Unite is so suitable for factory tours? Is it the fact that we have multiple speakers? It's the fact that we have multiple uses for it? Or do you like the multiple connection options that we offer, like USB or Bluetooth? Or is it the fact that you have so many different charging solutions which really gives you the flexibility to use it both in-house or on a remote location? Again, I'll give you a few seconds to answer this. Okay, let's close this session off. Before I do this, I would like to again refer you to our website where you can find all these webinars. You can watch the recordings again or share it with any of your colleagues. I would like to also invite you to the next webinar, which is going to be on October 24th, where we're going to talk about planning rental events. Before I leave you, I would like to thank you a lot for listening and paying attention to this. And I would like to invite you to follow us on our social media as well. Thank you very much, and until next time.
First, every voice matters. Secondly, it's also about enhancing decision making. Thirdly, language accessibility. And finally, it's also about customer-centric approach.